Well, we told you about the potentially dangerous forever chemicals showing up in wells near the Yakima Training Center.
These can cause a long list of health problems, and the cleanup is a huge project. KV's Emily Goodell is live at our Yakima Bureau tonight. Emily, you spoke to someone who says she won't be able to safely use her tap water, perhaps for decades.
I spoke with East Selah resident Brandy Hyatt, who says she just got her well tested, and in February the results came back showing that her well had PFAS levels in excess of the Environmental Protection Agency's lifetime health advisory, more than 3 times the allowable amount. She also found out that her family, including her 2 children, have been unknowingly drinking that contaminated water for the past 6 years.
It's been devastating to know that, there's health conditions that we've been dealing with that are more explained now that were unexplained before, that we've been raising our children on a chemical that's known to cause terrible cancers and diseases.
Up until 2014, the Yakima Training Center used a firefighting foam that contained PFAS, a group of chemicals health officials say are dangerous to human health. Now, dozens of wells in the area that provide drinking water for 56 homes are contaminated. The Washington State Department of Health says water with levels of PFAS ranging from 10 to 15 parts per trillion isn't safe to drink, and people should rely on bottled water instead. But at a community meeting Thursday, Army officials said they would only be providing bottled water for people who test over the EPA limit of 70 parts per trillion.
We can't just drink water from our home anymore, and we can't brush our teeth with that water or wash our food with that water or cook with that water. So it changes every part of your daily routine just to try to be safe in your own home.
Hyatt says they could try installing an expensive filtration system or selling their home, but those aren't feasible options for her family right now.
Our very first thought was we got to get out of here. But then we recognize that it's going to be very challenging to sell this home. Even with the filtration system, if we could find a way to afford that and install it ourselves, the people coming into this situation would have to realize what they're taking on.
The Army has tested 108 wells in the area and plans to test more this summer. But officials say the long-term federal plan to clean up the contaminated wells could take upwards of 30 years to complete. But Hyatt says in the meantime, some of her neighbors could be completely unaware that they're drinking potentially contaminated water.
Nobody knows until they get a letter on their doorstep from the military requesting to test their well that they could potentially be impacted by this. Ultimately, we've decided that it's important for us to not flee right now. It's important for us to raise awareness and protect the people that live around here so that we can get a unified voice and say no to 30 years.
Hyatt says she and some of her neighbors have been going around door to door, just making sure that everyone's aware that they might be drinking water that is contaminated with PFAS. She says she's hoping that they'll be able to get county officials or state lawmakers to intervene and somehow help them come up with a better solution in the short term. Reporting live from our Yakima studio, Emily Goodell, KVU Local News.